Thanks for tuning in. We're here on a Wednesday night after the first week of the playoffs. The first week of the playoffs were a real doozy. We had two major upsets. Both of the Bones brothers go down. I guess they were really itching for the Bones Bowl 2.0, but kudos to them for losing and honestly just being allergic to playoff wins. But what are you gonna do? Um, so major kudos to B-Bone for the preemptive ice video. Fully support it. Really appreciate it. Kudos to you. Speaking of ices, we did have some side action last week. We had Trey and Rich going up in a virtual round one of the playoffs. Since they're all high and mighty, getting first round buys, they decided to do some side action. The side action was just a straight point for point comparison between the two teams based on their bye week performances. Rich came out on top with a solid 160 something points. So Trey owes the league in ice. So waiting on that, Trey. Can't wait to see it. Speaking of side action, some little talked about side action. Honestly, is probably on my behalf. This was made the weekend after the draft. That Saturday, um, you know, Tim decided to make the bet with me that Adrian Peterson would outscore Alex Collins this year in fantasy. I thought it was a no brainer bet. I was wrong, so in punishment, I do owe Tim three bets on the pass line at the craps table. So I'll have to pay up at some point. So Tim, let me know when we want to make that trip to the casino. All the BS aside, we are kicking into the playoffs. We're in the semifinal round. We have some very exciting matchups. We have Matt versus Trey, Mike versus Rich. Trey is a heavy favorite, but let's ride the curtails of Patrick Mahomes. Mister No Look past himself. So all the credit in the world to Trey. And the other matchup we have is Mike versus Rich. I think this is the matchup that I am personally most excited about. Um, Mike is calling out Rich specifically in his team name "Fuck the King" in reference to Rich making some deals early in their season. Rich was wheeling and dealing. Um, Mike didn't like it. Honestly, a lot of the league didn't like it, but based on the communication we heard from Brian this week, it was a mutually agreed upon trade. But anyway, Mike is really hoping that his dynamic duo of Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley show up this week. They have, not single-handedly, but double-handedly carried his team to the playoffs and got him that first round victory. So I'm sure he's ecstatic to have those two players on his team. Not to mention that Saquon Barkley is an alumni of his alma mater. We are Penn State. Anyway, Rich's team though is just purely stacked. I gotta give him credit. He did a great job recovering from his abysmal draft. We were all there. We all saw the Browns defense, Mitch Trubisky draft. But anyway, he managed to really turn it around and had one of the best records in the league, first round bye. And when you're putting in Odell Beckham Jr. into your flex, you're probably in a pretty good situation. But anyway, this matchup really sounds like a season 37 of Survivor David versus Goliath matchup. So I'm really excited to watch it from the consolation bracket. Anyway, this is where we're sitting this week. I'm not gonna spend that much time on this video. But only time will tell who's going to come out and be a part of that championship game. So it's going to be exciting next week. But let's see what happens. In the meantime, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe to this YouTube channel.